Hello, good morning, class.
Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
So, how are you doing?
You're fine?
Fine, ma'am. Thank you. And you?
I'm fine too. So, have you been
Wow.
vaccinated?
Sorry, miss?
Yes, every day.
Yeah.
Have you been vaccinated?
Not yet,
Yes, we
miss.
always get vaccine every day.
Oh, not yet. Okay. So, we
No.
will not meet each other until we are all vaccinated. Okay. So,
Okay,
before
ma'am.
starting the class, I would like to check our attendance list. Please raise your hand and say, or if you cannot turn on your video, you can just raise hand on your Zoom application. The first, Fransiska,
I'm here, miss.
Wahyudi Saputra.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
All right, so everybody is
Right.
here.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so before we start our lesson today, I would like to review our previous lesson. Do you still remember our previous lesson?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
yeah. Is it
All
yeah
right, what is it about, Francisca?
yeah? Is it the if conditional?
Yes, correct. So last week we discussed about if conditional. Wahyudi, how many types of
Yes.
conditional?
Me, ma'am. Could you repeat again?
How many types are there in if conditional?
I feel there are four types, right?
Five or four?
Uh, four. I just
Four?
know four.
Yeah, there are four if conditional. Type 0, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Yeah, last week we have discussed about type 0 and type 1. Francisca, could you please tell us once again about if conditional type 0?
For zero, the ones that you explained to us last time, it's the one that it's fact, something that will happen. It's happens. It's something like the weather. It will like when you boils the water will hot, something like that. So it will happen. It's fact.
Yes, correct. So I will explain it a little bit more. So if conditional, there are four types, and the last one we discussed last week is type 0, which is general, which is something that will absolutely happen, like what Francisca just mentioned before. If you boil water, the water will be hot. There is no chance the water will be cold if you boil the water. So that is type 0. Wayudi, could you please explain us about the type 1 of if conditional sentence?
Wait a minute, ma'am. I have something to do out here. Ah, bentar.
All right, so Wahyudi is not with us. Now, Francisca, could you please explain us about type 1?
Yeah, the type one, the ones that they are like you explained also before, it's like 50-50 possibility. So
Yes.
yeah, I forget what is the example of that. Sorry.
All right, so that is correct, Francisca. Type 1 is
Mm-mm.
the 50-50, 50 possibility and 50 result. The example we can say is if I win the soccer champion, I will treat you. So the
Hello,
possibility
ma'am.
you will win the soccer champion is 50 and you lose also 50.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Wahyudi, are you with us?
Yes, right now I'm with you. Actually, I'm
Okay.
working right now, ma'am.
Oh
oh.
Just
yeah.
continue without me. It's okay.
Okay. I suggest you to focus on my class, okay, Wahyudi?
Okay, ma'am.
Still working, eh?
Yeah, still working.
Okay. Okay, class. So today we will continue learning about the other types of if conditional. The third type is
Type 2.
two. All right.
Up
So type
to
two is a hypothetical condition, and it is probable result. A hypothetical condition. This is something that is the fact is intertwined with the present. For example, in bahasa Indonesia, kalau Wahyudi fokus dalam pelajaran Miss Cindy, Wahyudi tidak akan jalan-jalan, for example. The
but why
fact that,
always me, ma'am?
yeah.
Why always me, ma'am? Waduh, how could I, ma'am?
So, dia sekarang berkebalikan, Wahyudi sekarang tidak fokus dan dia berjalan-jalan. Something like that.
Ma'am, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
The second example is, if I were a president, I would make all the education fee free. Kalau saya adalah presiden, saya akan membuat biaya pendidikan semua gratis. The fact is, I'm president, but I would do that if I were a president. The next example is, if I were more beautiful than this, all men would fall in love with me, for example.
Yeah.
Kalau aku
Yes.
lebih cantik, not that beautiful. So that is type 2. The condition is intertwined with the fact. Do you get the point, Fransiska and Wahyudi?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you get the point, could you please tell me one example? Start from Fransiska.
Okay.
Yeah.
Type 2, yeah?
Okay. So it's like if I become the head of school, I will make what is that? The kindergarten students more enjoy they play based learning by maybe providing the more games or more the what is that the environment that good for them to play and study also.
Okay, what about you, Wahyudi? The fact, what is the fact?
Okay.
The fact that Francisca, you are not?
Yeah, I'm not the head of school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is why we call it type 2. Now it's your turn, Wahyudi. Just give me one example.
Yeah, if I were actress, if
Yeah.
I were actress,
Mm-mm.
I would marry actress.
Who would you marry?
No. If I were actress, I will marry a teacher.
Oh. Okay. The fact that you
The
are
fact
not.
is, I'm not the actress, and I will not marry. Yeah, I'm not marry the teacher.
All right, that is
Okay.
correct. That is good example. But I would like to correct some of your English. You are an actor, not an actress.
Oh yes. Actually, I'm girl, ma'am. At night,
Oh,
I'm girl. So wait.
So it's making a joke.
Okay, continue. Okay, ma'am.
okay,
Sorry,
so
ma'am.
in type 2, the tenses we will use for this first sentence is simple past, like what Francisca mentioned before. If I became, using verb to, past tense. If I became the head of the school, I will, blah, 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 blah. I would, blah, 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 blah.
Ah.
I'm sorry. Past conditional. Past future, using would. If I were an an actor, I would marry blah 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 blah. That is all our lesson for if conditional type 2. Is there any question for today's class?
No, miss.
What about you, Wahyudi?
Yes, miss. I want to ask you something.
No.
Okay.
Why we have to put the verb of where? If I say I, if I were, like for example, like I say if I were actor, why first we put where there? Why the what? We know that simple past is I must be with proceeded with by with was, right? Why we should say where there? Like, yeah.
All right, so let's see the example. If I were an actor, I would marry Mary
Yeah.
Angela. Why do we use?
Angela? No,
Yeah.
English teacher, man. English
Oh,
teacher.
English teacher.
Yeah.
Because you said
English
you
teacher.
were an actor. English teacher. Okay,
Uh,
this because it is the regulation of an, how do you say, that is the perfect regulation of if conditional. So if you use if I was an actor, that is incorrect. The correct one is you use if I were. You are muted, Wahyudi.
No, yeah.
okay.
He's mute.
So if the subject is they, still where? Yeah.
Yeah, it is only changed if the subject is I. If you use she, he, the other subject except I, the to be is it is only changed for I. For
Okay, man.
example,
Thank you, man.
okay.
Example.
For example, if he was my boyfriend, I would buy him a very big car, for example.
Oh yeah.
If he was, yeah. Uh, is there any questions, class?
No, no more, miss.
What about you, Wahyudi? Is there any questions?
Where
Okay,
is
I guess
he?
Wahyudi,
Maybe connection, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. So this is our lesson for today. For the next week, we will continue discussing about type 3 of if conditional. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
So before we continue, is there any question? If there is not any questions, please make sure you memorize and remember all the 3 types of if conditional that we have discussed in the previous week, because next week I will also review and give you assignment about if conditional.
Okay,
Wow,
thank
so
you,
Alright,
scary,
class?
man.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, class, is all for today. Uh, good morning and have a nice day.
Good morning, miss.
Okay, man.
Have a
Have a nice
nice
day.
weekend too.